we have a very large task ahead of us of just sort of getting our feet on the ground, figuring out kind of who's out there. That's part of the data collection, letting them know what we're doing at the most basic level, beginning the branding. I mean, it's sort of like, I would love to say that the data, data, and so we can compare ourselves against other parts of the world is the absolute top priority, so that we can be as most strategic as possible. But I'm actually not quite sure that that needs to be our lead point at this point. I mean, not that I don't like. I mean, I still think it is very important, but I'm just not. There's so much. I think there's a lot we could get done first without like spending 24 hours of at least 1 day a week trying to figure out how we're going to measure this thing. Because like you said, it's messy.
We did an analysis of the designer fashion businesses in 2 regions in the UK, and that analysis took us about 6 months in total. Primary data analysis. What came out of that? Bridal wear was the most significant business, right? And when I went to tell the Department of Culture that they might have to support bridal wear, it was quite hilarious, really. But more to the point was that what all of these businesses told us and what we discovered was they actually knew very, very little about what was on offer from business agencies, government, etc., 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 and we're not taking advantage of what was already there. And I think the point you're making is a good one, in the sense that there is a job to be done quite often with the creative industries in terms of them not knowing what is already in place to support them.
Well,
I think that's
huge. Every company I go into and run through, and I've got the list here for you guys of what we have as resources right now, that I go over with every single company. They go, I had no idea this existed, no idea that I could get help on this or help on. I mean, the simple fact that you can walk into the Small Business Center and get a marketing plan, your business plan put together for you, help with finding working capital, help with talking to VCs, help with talking to angels, investors, help with, any other zillions of things. I mean, these people, some of these companies, they'll be right next door to the Small Business Center, and it's for some reason they've never even stepped in the door to ask what they actually do, Even in smaller communities like the Berkshires, where you think everybody knows everybody, and they've all sort of done that. Nobody has any idea what's out there for help. So we know that we don't support artists the way that they do in Europe. We never will. We support them through tax incentives. If you look at the straight up dollars that go to folks, it's different than sometimes what we actually support through the arts through tax incentives. Like somebody can donate to a museum and they take that off their taxes. That's actually really how we support in a different way the fundamental traditional arts than Europe does, where it's just like loads of cash thrown at people. We are throwing loads of cash, but it's kind of like we're on a rebate system.
National lottery.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, the lottery originally in Massachusetts was, not very many people know this, our lottery originally was supposed to fund solely the arts and the Arts Council, and then they went, oh my God, we're making so much money. Exactly. So yeah, we know we have a problem. We know that there's some fundamental issues around that. A lot of the big foundations got together and started another new foundation called United States Artists, which is giving big, massive grants to artists now. We know the key issues that artists have to deal with: validation, space, healthcare, business training for artists. There were initiatives around each of those things that have taken root in different places locally. I could go on and on forever about this, but there's fundamental issues that we're still trying to sort of crack that nut around here, and it's a United States-wide problem. But there's a lot of foundations and a lot of people really paying attention to it. I mean, in our state, the Cultural Council are the folks that were really very much part of that project, and the amounts of money we're talking about that we're going to support these things are not huge, but at least was something. But I mean, it's a 10-year project. It's only 5 years in that project.
What is really interesting is in the creative industries, artists don't exist. And I wrote an article for Anne's journal, where I've gone into great detail about this, but the products that they produce exist, e.g. the arts and antiques trade. It's about product, it's not about the artist at all. I think that just about says it, describes it quite accurately.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank the panel for their comments. Thank the audience.